This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
And there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Joe Schad from the Palm Beach Post. How you doing, Joe? You look concentrated there. You are focused.
I don't have my earphones and I can't hear you. So we're gonna try.
You're gonna try. Where the hell are you, by the way? What's behind you there?
What's that?
Okay. So you're still at the combine. You're at a convention center.
Yeah. I'm leaving for the airport in about 20 minutes or so.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. All right. So talk to us a little bit this week. First of all, your impressions on Mike McDaniel. There was a lot of colorful conversations going on with many different people. But talk a little bit, first of all, on his thoughts on Gesicki, and a guy that we've been all questioning, does he fit the scheme or not? Your impressions after being there for a couple days and gathering information and listening to the coach talk about Gesicki.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it doesn't surprise me that Mike McDaniel spoke about how he can utilize Mike Gesicki and find a way to capitalize on his strengths. I don't necessarily agree with Mike when he talked about how he thinks that, he can be fine as a blocker. We know that Mike's not fine as a blocker. But I still think that when you look at the value that Gesicki can provide to the Dolphins, it very much outweighs the number on the franchise tag. And so I don't think it makes any sense for the Dolphins to let Mike Gesicki go when they can, have him under contract for less than $11 million for 1 year. I think that wouldn't make any sense at all. So I think the franchise tag would be very much in play. I'm not so sure about a long-term extension. You heard Chris Greer say that they had more discussions with Emmanuel Ogba's agent, Drew Rosenhaus. So I think that a long-term extension seems more likely with Ogba. But I do think, one of the Chris Greer philosophies, and Mike Tannenbaum had the same philosophy, and we've heard others, you don't just let talent walk away when you have some control over that talent. And even with Gesicki, if you really wanted to, you could tag him and trade him. Not to suggest that you'd get, a first or second round pick, but you could certainly get something for him because he has some value. So,
but you're going to get a third round compensatory pick anyway, right? If he signs a deal with somebody, it should. Well, it also depends on what you do in free agency too, because you may not get the same kind of compensatory pick. It might be even lower than that if you were heavily involved in free agency also, which with $70 million. So I kind of answered my own question there, but. So you agree? So that's what I've been thinking, and it seems like you agree with me on this. That they're going to keep him on a 1 year deal to try it out and see if they can make it work like a big ass receiver. In other words, and then if it can't work as a mismatch, then I think you're going to have to settle for compensation or a trade after that.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Salary cap is not a problem for the Dolphins at this time. A lack of talent on offense is a problem at this time. Clearly, the Dolphins are going to look to add in both free agency and the draft at the offensive line, wide receiver, and running back positions. So why create another problem for yourself in terms of a pass receiving tight end? Now, I know the Dolphins invested a high draft choice on Hunter Long of Boston College, but he's certainly not the proven NFL receiver that Mike Gesicki is. So it's coming fast. I mean, the tag deadline is just a few days away. There's less of a separation between the NFL scouting combine and the deadline for the franchise tag and the start of free agency than there have been in past years because of the NFL playoffs being moved back and the Super Bowl being moved back a week. So there are, I'm sure, deals that have been already essentially, done here in a soft violation of NFL rules.
All right, Joe Schad joining us, of course, with our American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins report. You can catch him twice a week here on the program. Joe, also the loaded question that really is never asked to any other, general manager or even head coach, rarely, is can Tua be elite? And he answered back, which I thought he kind of reversed it on everybody, and I thought it was kind of a smart way of turning it on you and saying, I can't say he can't be. So what did you think of all of that? Because it's not really a question. Nobody was asking Marty Schottenheimer after year 1 or 2 of Breeze, hey, can he be elite? Nobody was asking, Belichick after first year of Tom Brady, hey, can he be elite? You know what I mean? So it's kind of a situation and a loaded question asked. So how did you interpret the answer?
I mean, I think that Chris Greer is a straight shooter and an honest guy. And so the fact that he didn't come out and say, I've seen enough, I know Tua was worthy of the 5th pick, I don't regret drafting Tua over Justin Herbert, all he needs to be is unlocked. He's a superstar. We believe that he is going to lead the Dolphins to the Super Bowl. The fact that he didn't say all those things tells you that, well, he doesn't think it. He told you what he thought, which was, well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Joe,
let's find out.
Joe, what's more proving is what you do, not what you say. He told you he doesn't want Watson. He's staying with him. He went and got a coach to coach him, and the coach accepts this quarterback. They're going to rebuild or or fix this offensive line and dedicate to the running game. He doesn't have to tell you that. He's doing it like publicly, that he's committed completely to Tua, that he believes that if you change the environment around him, he'll be a different quarterback. Why does he have to tell you anything when he's actually physically doing it, literally doing it for you?
The Dolphins believe that the smartest organizational decision for 2022 is to roll it back with Tua Tagovailoa and see what he can be. Let's see. It's a wait and see. Let's see how we can do with a new head coach. Let's see how we can do with a new play caller.
Is that what they told you? Is that what Chris Greer told you?
Yeah, basically.
No, that's that's what you're interpreting.
He didn't say yes. Why didn't he say yes?
He said yes.
Chris Greer is a very honest, straight shooter. He didn't say yes.
He said yes by telling you we want nothing to do with Watson.
Well,
he said yes by not trading for any other quarterback. He's saying yes because he's not going to draft another quarterback. He's saying yes because he fired his head coach over his quarterback. I'm not exactly sure you're really interpreting this the right way, my brother. Well, what do we got?
So I was there, and I was there when Chris Greer was answering questions about Tua. And, I think that what he said for a reason. In the same way Tua Tagovailoa used the double negative when he said, I don't not feel like I'm wanted. People said, that means yes.
Do you want him to come out and say, hey, I can tell my head coach hates me? He's not going to tell you that, dude. I mean, it's a loaded question again. How's he supposed to answer that?
You said a few minutes ago.
If he tells you, everybody loves me and coaches and wants me here, you're going to then call him a liar. Because
you said a few minutes ago that. You implied a few minutes ago that Tua Tagovailoa is the only quarterback who leads coaches and general managers to being asked about the concept of eliteness. I found it interesting in reading stories that were written in yesterday's newspaper and web, literally about Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, that the exact same questions are being asked and being written about.
Yeah, but that's pure stupidity 10 years later. If you're asking that 10 years now, if it took you 10 years to figure out that Ryan Tannehill is not elite, you're not very good at assessing
The
quarterback.
same questions are being asked about
I knew that in year one.
Cousins in Minnesota.
He's not elite. He's not elite either, my brother.
This notion that, every
Joe,
NFL team isn't
Joe,
seeking an elite quarterback.
The difference is, my brother, Tannehill and Cousins have had the opportunity to show you they're elite because they were given every single thing they needed: a coaching staff, an offensive line, a running game, receivers, a defense. They have complete teams in Minnesota and Tennessee, and those two guys failed to get you over the top. Meanwhile, here in Miami, this young man doesn't have any of those things, and they judge him the same way. And that's where it becomes completely unfair. And when you're comparing Cousins and Tannehill at this point to Tua, it's apples and oranges.
Are the media in Cincinnati and Los Angeles asking their coaches and GMs if they believe that Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert can be elite? No, because they've already shown so much more than Tua.
No, only Joe Burrow's shown it, my brother. What? I'm sorry, I must have missed it. What did Herbert win, dude? I'm sorry. Please, I'm sorry. Where were the playoffs? Did he beat Tua up front? Did he not shit in his pants against the Houston Texans a couple of weeks ago when he had an opportunity to cut it to one score and he threw a pick six? I'm sorry, Joe. Please explain to me what Justin Herbert has won, college or the NFL. Please explain that to me. You're on a roll today, my brother. Please, come on.
I have eyes.
Please, because I saw Joe Burrow win at LSU, and I saw Joe Burrow take the Bengals to the Super Bowl. Please tell me where Justin Herbert has done that. Please, because you got to be on drugs to put those two in the same level, bro. You got to be on drugs. That guy played in an easy conference, and he couldn't dominate that easy conference, and he couldn't beat anybody in the SEC. And what's he won in the NFL? With a better line than Tua, with a better running game, with a better coaching staff? Please tell me how Justin Herbert is at the same level outside of fantasy numbers, my brother. Where is the substance with Justin Herbert?
I never said that Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are on the, quote, same level. You try to put words into my mouth. Big O, I don't like when you try to put words into my mouth, Big O. I don't like it.
But you
made the point.
You made the point that
let me make my point.
Elites.
Let me make my point. My point is that there's a freaking reason that the general manager and the coaches are not being asked about whether or not Burrow or Herbert can be elite, because we all freaking know that they can be incredible NFL quarterbacks. There are questions to be answered. There are many unknowns. I hope Tua does well. You seem to think that I hope he doesn't. That is not
no. I don't say you're rooting against him. I say you've made your mind up that you don't think he's that guy. That's all I've said. And the way
I'm entitled to an opinion about where I think we're headed.
Oh, okay, so then don't battle me on that then. Don't tell me that you're not thinking that way, because that's what I've pointed out several times with in our interviews, that your narrative is set already on the young man. You're not open-minded on Tua. You're not rooting against him, but you don't believe in him like a lot of people, Joe. You're not, dude, you're in huge company. There's a lot of people like you that don't believe in the guy, my brother. You're not the only one, dude. Okay, so it's not like I'm not putting you in some space that no one else is in. Lots of you don't believe in him. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're rooting against him. I think the way you've talked about him is you're already convinced that he's not the guy.
So it's good for your show to bring me on and to say, oh, you're a Tua hater, you don't believe in him. No. And it's good for your show for you to come out and talk about how good you think he is and how it's everybody else's fault. It's not him.
No.
Do you know why? Because if he's gone in 2023, no one will care or remember what you said. No one's going to say, oh, well, Big O, you were so wrong. because they'll just move on.
I doubt,
You are in a bit of a.
I doubt that because people still remember that I like Brock Osweiler as a project in the third round, and I remember it, my brother. So and others do too. So that's if there's one thing I've learned in 32 years, they'll remember the wrong ones. They don't remember the good ones. They remember the bad calls, my brother. They always remember the bad calls. But when you tell me that Herbert already, like when I look at Burrow, he's the bomb. You can already tell. You saw it at LSU. You saw it again this year. The guys, but when you put Herbert, I get the physical talent part, but he has yet to put the physical talent with those moments, and that's where I disagreed with you when we put them in any kind of the same stratosphere.
I mean, listen, and unfortunately for the Dolphins, 99 out of 100 NFL executives here in Indiana would now take Herbert over Tua. 99 out of 100.
Probably.
So you would too, right?
Yeah, you have to take him physically. Yes, I get it. I get it.
So we agree on that.
I get the physical part of it. I don't think mentally yet he's the same quarterback that Tua can be. Because I've seen Tua perform at a high level against other teams in the SEC and win. I haven't seen those moments from Justin Herbert ever. Not college, not the pros. I've seen a lot of stats.
You just said that even you,
physically,
the most ardent Tua fan,
physically,
yes.
Physically,
all right.
Yes.
So we agree that unfortunately it was a mistake made.
No. I don't do that. No. I'll wait till he has a coach and an offense.
It wasn't a mistake to take Tua over Herbert.
No, I'm not. I'm not ready for that until I see a real team around Tua. Then I'll tell you it was a mistake if Tua doesn't come through. I think Tua will come through. That's where you and I will. That's where we'll disagree. If you get a line and you get a coaching staff and you get a running game, I think the kid excels. I do, and I'm in that camp. But I get the people that want to take Herbert over Tua because physically, it's hard not to deny it, dude. I mean, the guy's bigger, stronger, more athletic. He's got a gun for an arm. I get all the tangibles, man. You fall in love with them. He's the ideal quarterback. If you had to draw him up physically, that's the guy. I'm with you. I just haven't seen this yet.
He's an extremely smart kid.
No, I haven't seen it in the moments. Tannehill's a smart. Tannehill's a smart kid too, and in key moments, he's a brain fart. And he's not a dumb kid. He's smart, but in key moments, his brain scatters. It's done. Doesn't matter how smart he is. He panics. He's gonna make a mistake. I haven't seen Justin Herbert elevate a team in key moments in college or the NFL and lift them up to big moments. Haven't seen it.
He's an extremely exciting young talent. He has the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
And think about it.
Does your guy?
And think about it. You can't come up with one example. All you can come up with is with adjectives. Oh, he's dynamic. He's big. He's strong.
Because you've watched every snap of Justin Herbert in his NFL career. I've seen a few games. Yes, I don't watch every Justin Herbert game. And you know what I see? I see a guy who's extremely confident and extraordinarily talented. Okay. Yeah.
I know. And when he had a moment.
What's the problem?
The problem is he had a moment to get him in the playoffs this year and he failed. Is
that the game where they went up and down the field, two teams, and it was an extremely exciting game?
No. It was the game against the Houston Texans when he had a chance to beat the Texans and lost to the Texans, because if he's that good, Joe, you don't lose to the Texans. You don't throw a pick six. In a moment, you can cut it to a one-score game.
Didn't the Bengals lose to the Jets?
Yeah, and?
All right, so you know what? I don't watch every game like you do.
Brother,
I knew that. That doesn't mean that Joe Burrow's not great.
The Bengals are in the playoffs. That's the difference, my man. Don't pick a bad game when you still made the playoffs.
You just picked the Texans for Herbert.
And what do you think happens, Joe, if they win that game? They're in the playoffs. Then I can't say anything, Joe. But I can say something when you're crapping your pants in a crappy game that you needed to get in. So if this happens to Tua, you're slicing him up on the Palm Beach Post. Oh, you see, Tua's not elite. He lost to the Texans. That game right there is the reasons why the Dolphins didn't make the playoffs. If you were covering the Chargers, that's the storyline you write. Right?
Listen, man, the Dolphins need. It's been 21 years.
Oh, I know that.
It's been. They need it. They need a really good quarterback.
Okay.
Does Chris Greer believe that Tua is the guy? I think if he was firmly entrenched in the belief that we had the right guy, he would just said yes. That's how this whole conversation started. What did you take away from Chris Greer's remark that I can't say he won't? Well, that's what I take away. That Chris Greer, who's a straight shooter and an honest guy, knows.
Even though he's doing it literally. He doesn't have to tell you.
Well, what
other
option do they have for 2022? What other option do they have?
He fired his head coach over him. He picked the quarterback over the coach.
It would have been Deshaun Watson. If not for the unresolved legal issues. He would be a Dolphin.
I know, but the guy that wanted Deshaun Watson, mainly,
he's not the only guy. You think Stephen Ross and Chris Greer weren't going to sign off on that?
Okay, I'll ask you this. Who's the rudder on the ship? If you had to put the rudder on the ship on somebody in that group, who was the rudder on the ship for Deshaun Watson? Be honest now.
Well, do you think that if the owner and GM were not on board, that they would have moved forward with the negotiation?
Please answer the question. Who was the straw that stirred the drink?
It's so easy to blame the guy who's gone. Like no one else had anything to do with it.
The guy that's gone, do you think he wanted Tua? Do you think he wanted to draft Tua? Be honest. Do you think he really wanted Tua at any point? I'm sure you've done enough digging. Did he ever want Tua from day one, from minute one? Did he ever want him?
Chris Greer has said that he would never give a head coach a quarterback that he rejected. And by the way, what are you telling me that Brian Flores preferred Herbert? Well, if he did, he was right.
No, he didn't prefer Herbert. I know who he preferred, and it wasn't Herbert, and he didn't want Tua. I know who he wanted, my brother. I know exactly who he wanted.
What are you talking about? Which quarterback?
Long time. Yes. I know what quarterback he wanted, and it wasn't Tua.
So why don't you just say it? What's the big secret? The guy's gone.
Well, you have sources, and so do I. Got to protect the sources. So
can't say it. It's usually not worth knowing something unless you're willing to say it. So why aren't you willing to say it?
Well, because I need $1 million in Bitcoin in order to say it. Okay, that's the only way I could turn to my source and say, "Hey, they gave me $1 million in Bitcoin. I had to do it." Okay, maybe I'll pass him a couple Bitcoin for it. So he didn't want Herbert, and he certainly didn't want any part of Tua. Nothing, nada, nay. The guy never wanted him.
Well, what if it turns out he was right? Hi. How are you? Good.
That's not the point.
Well, if it turns out he was right, are you going to give him credit for it?
Well, yes, I'll give him credit for it, but then I have to discredit him because I know what he wanted. So, that's the problem. When you know what he wanted, it kind of discredits you. Listen, it's hard for me to give that man any kind of anything because he won't even come on publicly and admit that he didn't want Tua. You know what I mean? It's like he talks about him like he had some kind of affinity for the kid when he had zero affinity for the kid. That's the amazing.
Big O, I like you. I like your show. I'm glad we do this. But and the thing is that twice a week for the next 52 weeks, we're going to be talking the same thing.
No. That was just this week. Yeah, no. We got to the Brian Flores thing has to be.
No. I mean the whole pick a side on Tua. You're either on his side in the belief that he can win a championship, or you think is trash.
We're screwed with that.
I'm just going to tell you, I think that sometimes you miss that there's an area in between he can win a Super Bowl and he's trash. There's an area in between.
Right, I know, and I can say the same thing for you that when you came on last week and say, well, they need to acquire, they can acquire Rodgers or Russell, but they've got to improve the offensive line and the running game. Meanwhile, for Tua, you already measured him without a running game and an offensive line. How is that fair? You know what I mean? So, of course, we're going to have this battle with Tua is going to go on for the entire Dolphin nation all around the world, Joe. Everyone, because you have the ones that believe in him and the ones that don't. And until the kid proves either or, until either side is proven right or wrong, the discussion and the arguments are going to continue. That's just the way it is, my brother. It's the rut we're stuck in. Hell, we did this with Tannehill for 7 years. 7 years. Okay? So this is something we normally do.
No, I know. I mean, listen, the quarterback position is very important. It's nothing more important. And so it is important to talk about it. I just want to be clear that there's more to talk about than you believe in him or you think he's trash. There's an in-between. The in-between is this. Gosh, I have concerns about his arm strength. Gosh, I have concerns about his durability. Gosh, I have concerns about whether or not he can lead a team to a championship level and lift his teammates. That's the in-between. That's the in-between.
And that's fair. And I always counter with, okay, give me what Kirk Cousins has. Give me what Tannehill has. Give me what Winston and Taysom Hill have in New Orleans. Just give me one opportunity to watch the kid for a season with a competent team and a coaching staff. And then if he can't get it done, I'll say, Joe Schad, dude, you were 1,000% right about Tua, and I was 1,000% wrong. But until I get a fair shot with the kid, I can't pass judgment on him. And that's what I think some of us Tuanons want to explain to some of you all out there is, man, he has nothing to work with.
Well, we have a disagreement about whether or not the Dolphins tried to support him. They drafted Jalen Waddle. They had Devontae Parker. They had Mike Gesicki. They invested a first-rounder on the offensive line, 2 second-rounders on the offensive line, a third-rounder on the offensive line, a fourth-rounder on the offensive line. Now, you're going to say that they weren't coached up well enough, but I do not think it's fair to suggest that Tua was surrounded by trash.
Okay, so just to crush that point you just made. Meanwhile, you made all those points and you said, well, let's acquire Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, but we still got to build an offensive line and a running game. So obviously they did not build around him. You know what that was called, right? That's a mic drop.
What time is it? I got to go to the airport.
Yeah. Get the hell out of here. Go fly. Be safe. We'll catch you next week. All right. And we'll have another discussion about Tua. Much love, brother.
Enjoy your weekend, buddy. Take care.
All right, baby. Be good. Joe Schad at AmericanDreamLending.com, Miami Dolphins report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.